In 1993, three friends met at a Denny's restaurant in San Jose. They ordered cheap coffee and pancakes, and over that breakfast, they made a decision that would accidentally change the world. Today, that company is worth over $5 trillion.
AI. Video was the belle of the ball. Today's gain was yet another record high.
NVIDIA Core is on the verge of becoming the 9th company in history to reach a market value of $1 trillion club. The company's share price jumped as much as 26%.
NVIDIA just absolutely dominating. That NVIDIA is behaving monopolistic.
NVIDIA is now the most important company on the planet.
And it changes everything.
More than Amazon, more than Google, more than Meta. But here's the crazy part. They had no idea what they were building. They thought they were making video game chips. They had no clue they were creating the most important technology of the 21st century.
Jensen is here, of course, the CEO of NVIDIA. This is the clear winner of every winner in the world of artificial intelligence.
What an amazing year.
His company powers everything from OpenAI, Google's programs.
You are the stars. This is a celebration of your science, of your work, and your innovations. My second wish for you is to learn to embrace failure.
This is the story of NVIDIA and how three guys accidentally built the engine that powers artificial intelligence. The Denny's origin story. Jensen Huang was 30 years old when he walked into that Denny's with his two friends, Chris Malachowski and Curtis Preem. He wasn't a billionaire. He wasn't a tech genius. He was just a guy who used to wash dishes at that same Denny's restaurant when he was 15 years old. The three of them had $40,000 between them. That was it. Their entire startup capital. They wanted to build something simple. A chip that could make video game graphics look better. 3D graphics were just starting to become popular, and they thought, maybe we can make them faster. They called their company NVIDIA. It came from the Latin word invidia, which means envy, because they wanted their competitors to turn green with envy. It almost didn't happen. To officially register the company, they needed $600. Jensen had $200 in cash. He asked his two friends for $200 each, and just like that, NVIDIA was born. But here's what nobody tells you. They had absolutely no idea how to run a company. Jensen later admitted that if they had known how hard it would be, they probably never would have started. The pain and suffering they went through was 1,000,000 times worse than they expected. In fact, NVIDIA nearly died in its first few years. The near-death experience. NVIDIA's first product was a disaster. They made a critical mistake. They designed their chips to use quadrilaterals for 3D graphics. Sounds technical, but here's what matters. Microsoft announced that their software would only support triangles. NVIDIA had built the wrong thing. They were running out of money. They were about to go bankrupt. Jensen had to make an impossible decision. He went to one of their biggest competitors, a Japanese company, and convinced them to pay NVIDIA to build a chip for them. This gave NVIDIA just enough money to survive and redesign their product. It was humiliating, but it saved the company. By 1999, they finally got it right. They launched the GeForce 256, which they called the world's first GPU, Graphics Processing Unit. That name stuck. And for the next decade, NVIDIA dominated gaming graphics. Gamers loved them. The company went public. Jensen became a millionaire. But this is where the story gets interesting. Because gaming was never going to make NVIDIA the most valuable company in the world. Something else was brewing. The billion-dollar bet nobody understood. In 2006, Jensen Huang made a decision that seemed absolutely insane. He invested over $1 billion to develop something called CUDA. CUDA was a software platform that allowed people to use NVIDIA's gaming chips for other things. Scientific research, data analysis, complex calculations. Here's the crazy part. There was no market for this. Nobody was asking for it. Jensen's board members thought he was wasting money. But Jensen saw something others didn't. He realized that GPUs weren't just good at graphics, they were good at parallel processing, which means they could do thousands of calculations at the same time. CPUs, the normal computer chips, were like a single very smart person solving problems one at a time. GP-us were like having 10,000 people working on the same problem simultaneously, and Jensen bet the entire company that this would matter someday. For years, nothing happened. CUDA was used by a few researchers at universities, some scientists running simulations, but it wasn't making money. Jensen kept investing, kept building, kept improving CUDA, and then in 2012, everything changed. The accidental AI revolution.
In the world of artificial intelligence, thus far, his company powers everything from OpenAI, Google's programs, Meta. We're all frenemies in some ways. We'll talk about it.
Most valuable tech company?
Every innovation, every breakthrough, every connection, every revolution.
They are all powered by a single spark.
A team of researchers at the University of Toronto built something called AlexNet. It was an artificial intelligence model designed to recognize images, and they trained it using NVIDIA GP-us. AlexNet crushed the competition. It won a major AI competition by a massive margin, and suddenly everyone realized something huge. AI needed GP-us. Specifically, it needed NVIDIA GP-us, because training AI models requires doing millions and millions of calculations simultaneously, and NVIDIA's chips designed for video games were perfect for this. Jensen had accidentally built the exact tool that AI researchers needed years before AI became important. By the time companies started racing to build AI, NVIDIA was the only company that had spent decades perfecting this technology. CUDA had created something called a moat. All the AI researchers had learned to program using CUDA. All the software was built for CUDA. Switching to a competitor would mean rebuilding everything from scratch. NVIDIA didn't just sell chips, they had created an entire ecosystem that was nearly impossible to escape. And then ChatGPT launched, the $5 trillion company. In November 2022, OpenAI released ChatGPT to the public. Within 2 months, it had 100 million users, the fastest growing app in history. And every single word ChatGPT generated, it was powered by NVIDIA chips. OpenAI had trained ChatGPT using a supercomputer with 10,000 NVIDIA GPUs. That's not an exaggeration. 10,000 chips, all from NVIDIA. Suddenly, every tech company on Earth needed NVIDIA chips. Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Tesla. The demand was so insane that tech CEOs were literally begging Jensen for chips. Oracle's CEO, Larry Ellison, admitted he and Elon Musk took Jensen to dinner and spent an hour begging for more GPUs.
Please take our money. You're not taking enough of it. We need you to take more of our money, please.
NVIDIA's flagship chip, the H100, cost $30,000. And there was a waiting list. Companies were spending billions of dollars on NVIDIA chips. Not millions, billions. In 2024, NVIDIA's stock gained $277 billion in value in a single day, the largest one-day gain in stock market history. By 2025, NVIDIA became the first company ever to surpass $5 trillion in market value. Jensen Huang, the dishwasher from Denny's, was now worth over $160 billion. The monopoly nobody can break. Here's what makes NVIDIA's dominance so crazy. They control 80% to 95% of the AI chip market. Almost every AI model in the world runs on NVIDIA hardware. Competitors are trying to catch up. AMD is building rival chips. Google created their own chips called TP-us. Intel is scrambling to compete, but none of them have CUDA. CUDA is now 18 years old. It has 4.5 million developers who know how to use it. It has thousands of software libraries built specifically for NVIDIA chips. Switching away from NVIDIA means rewriting millions of lines of code, retraining thousands of engineers, starting from zero. For most companies, it's just not worth it. NVIDIA didn't just build better chips, they built an entire world that runs on their technology. And once you're inside that world, leaving is almost impossible. So here's what you need to understand about NVIDIA. This wasn't a master plan. This wasn't some genius strategy from day one. 3 guys met at a Denny's. They wanted to make video game graphics better. They almost went bankrupt. They made $1 billion bet that nobody understood. And then by pure chance, artificial intelligence became the most important technology of our generation. And NVIDIA, they just happened to have spent 20 years building exactly what AI needed. Today, NVIDIA doesn't just power ChatGPT. It powers Google's AI, Tesla's self-driving cars, every major AI breakthrough you've heard of. Jensen Huang calls AI the defining technology of our time. And he's not wrong, because whoever controls the chips that power AI controls the future. And right now, that's NVIDIA. The dishwasher from Denny's accidentally built the most important company in the world. And the craziest part, they're just getting started.